Welcome everyone. Whoa, that's low. So I hope that you had a good lunch. Now it's time to get into sales strategy. So, you know that at Odoo, one of our motto is the growth. Growth is extremely important, and basically every time we think about something, the way we sell, the way we develop the tool, the way we basically do anything, it's about growth. And that's really the point of today as well, is to talk a bit about the strategy that we put in place to really get to that objective. So I always like to start this talk by talking about the trends of the market, because I believe that it is extremely important, especially in this specific moment. Of course, since years now, the cloud is extremely important. It's a matter of security, it's a matter of data, it's a matter of many things, but clearly cloud is still the case. Now, there are some topics that I'm talking about since a couple of years as well, like the two-tier ERP, and we'll get back to that. But I believe that this is a game changer as well, for a company like Odoo especially. But all that cannot be extremely important if we do not have the right data, because the reason why we are talking about cloud, the reason why we are talking about different software is simply because we need to get the data to take decisions. And IoT is becoming even more important. For service companies in the fleet industry that needs to follow up on their fleet, for manufacturing companies that need to also do predictive maintenance on the machines. So IoT is important. It's data, it's a way to see the evolution of the company and make sure that the efficiency will be there. But data without personalization is nothing. I mean, how many companies have the exact same business, yet they do not use Odoo the same way, or any tool the same way? We've seen companies that have the same investors, the same suppliers, the same customers, and at the end, they work completely differently. So personalization is extremely key. And all that, data, cloud, everything, is now living a kind of revolution. Revolution because of AI. We'll come to that a bit later. And this revolution comes also simply because, thanks to the data, we can also start having prediction at different layer, of course. So now let's talk a bit about AI. For the past couple of years, we heard a lot of things. It was more a buzzword than something concrete. Now, step by step, we start to see the real effect. We've seen many implementations where basically the implementation was a failure, simply because there were no cases. We've seen companies specialized in AI that were coming asking, okay, do you have any issue that we could fix? To us, that's not the right way to do it. I think that today, the reality of AI is simply a concept that I will call employee augmentation. The fact that we make people more efficient. We help people in their day-to-day business. We'll help them to be more concentrated during customer meeting, simply because now you can have a transcription of the meeting, the to-do that will be directly organized, and the next activity as well set in the system. It's simply a matter of efficiency because you don't take 10 hours to translate. You have seen all the different examples that we have today during the keynote of Fabien, during different talks as well. So basically what we do, we remove the low-value tasks that are actually useless for human beings, and we replace them by real value for the company, for the customers, and of course for the employee as well. I was yesterday, during the call of KPMG, we were talking about how Odoo has really changed the way they work for their accountant, for the customer as well. Today, I mean, they used to take 3 days to do a closing in terms of VAT. Today, it takes a couple of hours. So that's what we call really value, and that's what we call efficiency. And as I said, companies now need to take actions and predict what's going to happen based on sales, based on data that they have, but simply based on that, they will be able to think smarter and be also more efficient. And one thing that I believe is completely underestimated is the fact that a lot of people are not IT-minded, right? I mean, if you're in this room, you probably should be IT-minded, at least I believe so. But a lot of people are not. Your employees, potentially, your customers, and for them it's difficult. If you ask them to do a reporting in a system like Odoo, it will be extremely complex for them to find a solution. If you ask them to go and do 10 filters to get the best sales of the month, the best product of the month, whatever, it will take ages. While now, with AI, one prompt and you can get the reporting. So I think that it's also a matter of accessibility. It will help for sure our customers, but not only, to basically work better with the tool and have a better understanding of what is possible. Now, we are talking about AI, we are talking about data, so obviously we're also talking about security. And this is, of course, a trend that will stay forever, I believe. It's super important. That's one of the reasons why a lot of companies have also moved to the cloud for different reasons, simply because they need to have access to the data as well, but they need to protect the data as well. And we know that when the servers are locally, it can have an impact, right? So security and compliance is becoming a massive trend at different level. But the reason why it matters is, as I said, simply because the data that we manage are mission critical. The data that we manage can basically stop a company working for long, right? So it's really, really important. But it's also a matter of regulation. More and more, we see that companies are supposed to follow regulation, to adopt laws. And so for that, we need to adapt to that logic. And that's why in the past years, we've spent a lot of time taking some certification like SOC, now the ISO certification, the CSA. So all those certifications are there simply because at the end of the day, it's a matter of trust. It's a matter of reassuring as well our customers, our partners. And actually, you know, it can be really long discussion in a sales cycle if you do not have that certification. For the customer, it's a kind of check the box, but if you have it, it changes everything. So clearly, that's something that will continue to push, and especially since we have new trend as well, like e-invoicing, for instance. That's also a matter of compliance. We need to comply, especially in a lot of countries. Like in Belgium at the moment, it will be the 1st of January, but in France it will be in September, and every country has its own agenda. But for the first time, the real first time, compliance becomes a driver, at least for us. Because we've seen in the past, you had the GDPR compliance situation where basically consulting company had a lot of business thanks to that, and it's great. Now, for the first time, we can also help customer get value out of that because they cannot continue working on Excel or on Word. No, they need to have solutions. And today, we know that in Europe at least, not even 50% of the people are using softwares to do their invoicing. So that will be a game changer. It will for sure accelerate the adoption. That's mandatory. But also it will become a competitive advantage. Why? It's actually quite simple. If you have a company, multi-country company, you need to be able to invoice in France, in Belgium, in US, or wherever. And that will be a massive game changer solution as well, because not all suppliers will be able to do it. Today, we still compete with a lot of local players. Tomorrow, that will be something that will help a lot. And it's even more than compliance. It's simply the fact that now you have the data straight away in your software. You can also secure the transactions and make sure that the invoicing that you do goes to the right person. So invoicing will for sure be a massive driver of growth, and we have high expectations, as you have seen as well during the presentation. Now, there is another subject that I quite like. It's the two-tier ERP acceleration. So clearly today, we still have large companies from SP 500 all working on SAP or Fusion. I mean, they will stay like that for the long term. Now, the reality is more and more of those companies are knocking on the door. And I'm talking about companies from Fortune 100, Fortune 10, that are coming to us asking, okay, can you guys help us? Because today, because of acquisition, because of the past, basically, we are using a lot of softwares. At the headquarters, we're using SAP or Fusion, but in all the different business units, we have different softwares. And I met some with 200 ERPs running at the moment. So there we have an opportunity because it cannot continue. We've seen the trends, the cloud, the data, the AI, having everything in one database or at least one solution is needed because you need to be able to basically have a look at the data and the prediction as well for the future. So that's something that is actually happening at the moment and where we have a lot of traction. And that's not it, because there's something else on the market as well that is actually reshuffling a bit the cards. You know that ACP is moving from the on-premise solution to the SaaS solution. And because of that, we have a lot of companies also knocking on the door. Again, the same kind of Fortune 100 or more, that are coming and saying, okay, can you guys do something about it? Because it is not a brownfield. So it doesn't mean it's not a solution that will be upgraded. No, it's a real migration to move from one to another. So there's a question. And the reason why is at this moment that we talk about it is simply because they have to decide before the end of 2025. Otherwise, they will have to pay an extra 20%. And for sure, that's 25. But 26, 27, we don't know how much. So that's why people are knocking on the door, wanting to know, okay, can Odoo do something? Can we do something about it? And I think that clearly there's an opportunity. Okay, now I think that the trends are extremely important, but now I know that it's also important to understand how do we perform on that market. And I always like to start this by the lead generation. Why? Because every year I'm amazed by the amount of leads that we're able to generate. This year, we are around 600,000 leads a month. Last year, we were at 400,000. So basically, with all the events, all the marketing, all the support from partners worldwide, we are able to get 600,000 leads a month. That's 7.4 million per year. And that's not it, because of course that has to be transformed. If we look at the amount of customers, we're still growing at plus 40% a month as well, a year as well. So we are getting to 11,000 customers a month, of course of all size, but you see the curve. It's still in terms of hockey stick kind of growth. And the type of customers that we have is also evolving a lot. We have bigger customers, we have smaller customers as well. It comes from all directions. Simply because we focus on the product. We try to make sure that the product will really answer the need of our customers, whether they're small or big. And thanks to that, we are getting, that's an estimation till the end of the year, around 210,000 customers at the end of the year. So I think it's an achievement. I think that clearly we are going in that direction. As I said, that's our motto. We want to grow. We want to make sure that we will continue in the same trend. And to support that, of course, when you have 200,000 customers, you need as well to have some support from the team, from the company itself. We now have 6,500 employees with 3,000 salespeople worldwide that are helping customers, helping partners, helping simply to grow, helping simply to qualify and make sure that we provide the right service. And this is crucial for the future as well, to make sure that we can really go to the next level. In terms of numbers, you've seen it during the keynote potentially as well, but those are the numbers of August. So we are accelerating actually. Last year we're growing at 40%. This year we're at 44% at 460 million. In terms of recurring revenue, of course, we have three levels of revenue. We have billing, we have revenue, and we have ARR. But the most important topic for us is ARR. And we see that in terms of billing, we go a bit slower, but it's a decision that we took. We took the decision to lower the multi-year incentives, etc., simply because we want to refocus on the value that we bring to customers. What is interesting to see as well is the evolution by size. So we see here that's the SME market. And you know, when we changed our pricing a couple of years ago, the goal was really to accelerate and to capture one of the range that we're not capturing, the 1 to 5. When you look at the 1 to 5, I think that we did quite well. We see that the evolution is going fast. And in terms of MRR as well, so monthly recurring revenue, we see that the goal is achieved as well. The goal was to basically increase and accelerate the average MRR per subscription. And that's also something that we see on the second graph, especially for the 50 plus and 21 to 50. So clearly, we continue really to focus on that to make sure that the SME market is well served with the right solution, the right service, and the right people as well. At the same time, we also have the MMC that we are really focusing on since a while, since almost a decade, I believe. And there as well, we're growing fast. We see that we're growing at 44% in general, but just for the MMC, it's going a bit faster. And I believe that this will continue to accelerate in the coming months. And there we see that there's also a split between the direct and indirect, where, as usual, indirect is way bigger than direct. 65% is coming from indirect, while 35% is coming from the direct side. Now, I think that there are also some business focus that you already have seen during the keynote, sorry. And those business focus are going to help us as well in terms of strategy. Because for years we've been an inbound company. Inbound company meaning that basically we were getting leads and that's it. Now, and the reason for that is actually simply because we were a generalist. And being a generalist is difficult to target, right? It's difficult to target specific industries, specific customers. And that's why we have decided to go into the industry. And as Fabien said, we have now around 100 industries that are running and ready on the website with different, I would say, kinds. So we have service, construction, retail, supply chain, health, hospitality, and many more. And the goal is to continue. It's to continue because thanks to that, we're able to address and attract customer differently. Because when I'm, let's say, a law firm, now I can straight go and have a direct solution that is running with a clear script on how I'm supposed to use the solution. And that changed everything. Because before that, we were always saying, yeah, sure, you're a law firm, we can help you. We can help you without any problem. The only thing is, would you need timesheet? Would you need project management? Would you need accounting? I'm not sure. Here, everything is directly implemented for the customer. And based on experience that we had as well with existing law firm as well. So we have plenty of those, and we'll continue to build more because we believe that this is the future. The good thing as well is that we can easily adapt those industries. We can easily adapt it by adding fields, by adding some specific things, just to make it work for the industry directly. And then we have some industries that we are focusing on a bit differently, like the post-restaurant. I think that Fabien talked a lot about it, so it's enough. Also the fiduciaries, and the fiduciaries are extremely strategic for us because obviously the fiduciaries are the ones that are promoting solutions, that are pushing customers to get X solution or another. And so we're really trying to provide the best tool possible for them. And something, it's a massive evolution for us because for the past years, we've been discussing about having a portal where basically they could manage everything directly in Odoo. For the first time, fiduciaries will have their own dashboards where they will be able to really focus and help customer with. So fiduciary will continue to evolve, not only because they can really be promoters, but also because it's needed for SMEs in general. They need to have fiduciaries that are able to help them on a day-to-day basis. And the last but not least that I want to focus on is the payroll. Payroll is a big topic. For years we tried to avoid it. We didn't want to go in it because it was too complex. I think that we had also in mind the Belgian payroll that is extremely complex, where basically things are that complex that you cannot really go in the industry. And quickly we realized by doing our payroll ourselves that it was actually possible to do something about it. And we realized that everything that we've done for our own usage is actually already quite advanced, especially when we talk to specialists. A lot of initiatives were actually brought alive via different companies to build payroll engines. Yet, it never ever end up in a correct position. While today, when they see the product that we have, they say, oh gosh, that's amazing. We never been that far in the process. So we are really confident, and basically we are already using it ourselves for a while. So we know that it will be something. And the goal is not just to stay in Belgium, as we said, the goal is to go worldwide. And why is it so strategic for us? It's because the stickiness of customers when we talk about payroll is massive. And so, of course, it improves the relationship that we have with customers. It improves as well the service that we offer to the different accounting firms that can now as well work on Odoo. Now, there are also a couple of changes that we made in the past coming months, and I think that it's important really to talk about it as well. In terms of strategy especially, because as I said, we continue to focus on the SME market, of course, And to focus on that market, we also had to take some decisions. The first one is we have split our teams in 1.5 and 550, simply because it's a different kind of service. It's a matter to win the market, because we believe that the mass is the most important one, but also because we need to specialize teams. By doing so, we will basically make sure that the really small customers have the exact same support that they need compared to the bigger ones. And it also increases the conversion, simply because you can also drive them the best way possible. If you're a really small customer, you shouldn't be changing or not using the solution out of the box, because it's costly to change it. And second, it's a matter of change management more than anything else. So we want really to differentiate the approach versus the bigger customer that are 5 to 50. And it doesn't mean that you cannot evolve, of course. That's exactly the point. We want to start somewhere and then make customer evolve within the time. So that's one change that we will apply for sure, commercially speaking, but it means that practically speaking, it has also some changes in our organization. Second, thanks to the industry, we can also now address the outbound. As I said, we've been inbound for years, and now since a year, we are also going outbound. What does it mean? It means that we have a strong collaboration between our sales team and the product team as well, to make sure that we have the tool that will actually answer to the needs of our customers. It's only possible because we have the industries, as I said, because now we can target, we can easily say, okay, we want to offer a solution for law firms, for service companies, for XYZ companies. Thanks to that, we have a good traction first of all, but second, we have also the feedbacks, and we can collaborate with the customer to make the thing evolve. It's a massive opportunity, because we can also address customers that we're not able to address before, simply because even though we start to have a branding, we're still far away of being really into the brand that we want, let's say. We're not the leader of the market yet. And so it's a matter of educating the companies as well. Thanks to that, we hope that we'll be able to accelerate even faster than today. So it's really not just going full outbound or full inbound. No, we will make the two at the same level, let's say. So it means that we plan really to accelerate both sides, and both will live together. Now, of course, there's also the mid-market and corporate department that is actually evolving a lot. Why? Because for years, the mid-market and corporate has been a small island in Odoo. Simply because we're mostly focused on the SMEs, but now it's time really to create a new layer that will really have an impact at the global level, to attract customers, to serve customers, and to make sure that they always get the right journey. Basically, by doing so, all our sales departments will be impacted simply by either creating new positions, like for instance in the customer success teams, where basically we know that we have to have people focusing on larger customers. Thanks to that, we can also develop the relationship and make sure that we basically evolve with them on the long term. And that is really important, because at the moment we're really just having that small island that we're focusing on that, and not the entire company. As you can say, if you look at the product evolves a lot as well in that direction. We are going even further in finance, in terms of auditing, in terms of basically everything that rely on MMC in general. And we'll continue, of course, the partner collaborations a bit differently. I think that we tried a lot to collaborate with partners, not always the good way. It was sometimes a bit too automatic, let's say. Basically, we had some initiatives where we're collaborating on deals that were not supposed to be collaboration. The goal is for Odoo to grow that layer all together. So we want our partners to grow as well and to be able to address that specific market. We want to make sure that basically we grow the cake and that we're not eating the cake. And that's something extremely important. And I think that we see a lot of great initiatives. We see that partners are reorganizing themselves to be able to address those really large customers as well, that some new roles are created as well. And so I think it's natural in the ecosystem to see that going up. And we see also as well that we address different type of partners, of customers, and I believe that this will have a massive impact in the future. At the end of the day, our goal in the ecosystem is to grow the MMC market, right? To get more market shares. And I think that what we are focusing now in the partner collaboration is really making sure that we can address strategic accounts. And when I say strategic accounts, I'm really talking about those extremely large accounts with thousands of users at least, and following a methodology that has proven that works, right? And this is something that will really be important because in the collaboration, we also sometimes suffered a bit from the methodology that was not always aligned. So it's something that we really work on to make sure that in the coming years, months, we be able to even accelerate that process. Another change that we did was basically adding a new layer of support. So for years, partners have complained about the fact that 3 version is it's too fast. It's too fast to evolve from one version to another. Yet, if you draw a line, if you draw a graph with the satisfaction of a customer and the version they're in, you will see that it's really, the correlation is really big. What I mean by that is that customers are getting unhappy about Odoo simply because they're in the old version. So our goal here is, of course, to help our partners that are willing to maintain older version with an extra fee, making sure that they still get support. But at the same time, we also want to make sure that customers are pushed to upgrade. So it's a balance. We're happy if they stay now in longer, but with support. But at the same time, we're so happy if they evolve to the newest version. And again, our main goal is really to answer the need. We had that question a lot. Can we stay longer on older version? We said that it was not planned. Now we did it. And basically, the reason why we did it as well is because we've seen that customers were asking that. And sometimes just for 1 year or 2, they are in a massive acquisition. They cannot, at the moment, upgrade. It will take too much energy. And so, because of that, they will simply take another year or 2 to upgrade to the next version, right? So that's really the mindset behind that specific change that we did, and I think that it was well recognized by the community in general. And so, as we said, it will be live from now, so V19, and effective from April 2026. Another change that we did, and it's again linked to the geopolitical situation. We see a lot of companies that are bigger, again, it's mostly for MMC. We had a lot of meetings with them saying, okay, where are the data? Are the data in Europe only? If you're in Europe, in US only, if you're in US. Basically, clearly, I had a specific case where I was with a Fortune 100 company, and there, we had the American side and the European side. We said, okay, is it a problem to have the data in Europe and Canada? And clearly for the US part was no issue, we don't care. While for Europe was a red flag. We cannot move forward if the data are not in Europe only. And this is why we changed it. So now, whenever you are in Europe from V19, it will be only hosted in Europe. So it will be in France, Belgium, and Sweden. So I think that that's also something, a commitment that we take to help our partners, customers to keep the momentum and to make sure that we can really go to the next level. Last part is really about the event. I think that Odoo is becoming an event company. And basically, if you look at the community days that we had India, we had Mexico, we had US. All those events are becoming crazy. And it's becoming that crazy that actually today we have 5.8 events on every single working day. So it's just to show you a bit where we stand today. Worldwide, that's worldwide, so it's really a lot. So it's 600 business shows, 300 webinars, and 450 academy. It's something that we plan to accelerate. And again, that goes together with what I said earlier. The reason why we split as well the type of customers between 1 to 5 and 5 to 50 is also because of that. We know that it's important to train people. It's important to have one to many events to grow the mass and to help the mass grow in general. In terms of business show, we'll continue as well to evolve at the same pace. I think that today what we are missing mainly is the branding. The branding is really key at the worldwide level, and to get there we have multiple channels, of course, but one of them is those events where basically we can invite people, and the engagement of at those events are also extremely important. When you spend 1 to 2 hours listening to presentations, customer success, etc., you really have a different kind of view on what is happening. So I hope that you will enjoy the end of this event. We still have 1.5 days, and now we're going to go for the Q&A session. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Does the activation of an industry generate LOC? If so, how many? And how would you convince the client that the cost of maintaining the code is lower than a success spike?
Say that again because it sounds bad.
Does the activation of an industry generate LOC? And if so, how many? And how would you convince the client the cost of maintaining the code is lower than the success spike?
So basically the industry, in some cases you have some lines of code indeed. And so for those industries, it means that it might cost up to 16 euro per month extra on top of the thing. What we believe is that we have a dedicated tool that works really for the industry, and thanks to that, it's not a big extra cost on top of the standard price. So it's only once that you pay the 16 euros per 100 lines of code, and there's maximum 100 lines of code on the industry. So it's really limited.
Okay. Does Odoo have any plans to go public?
I think that question will come back in 30 minutes or in an hour with Fabien. I think that Fabien already answered many times to that question. Clearly, the goal is not to go public. I think that there are many things that we like to do. I mean, we are open. When I say open, it's in the DNA. We have the open source mindset, and basically we're sharing everything. I don't think that a lot of CEOs are sharing the numbers live with all the details, and so clearly, I think that we'll lose a lot if we would go public. There's no need, first of all, because we do not need cash. There's no interest on top, because no one, and when I say no one, I'm talking about Fabien, is planning to get out. So basically, I don't see any reason to go public, and we have no interest again.
When you say customers, you only include paid users or also community and free users as well?
I didn't understand the question.
When you say customers, you only include like paid users or also?
No, so when I'm talking about customers, so the numbers here in terms of users are only the paying customers, but of course when we say in general, we have way more users than the one that you have seen here. In general, if we look at the community plus the one app free plus the paying customers, we are around like 50 million users. So we have extremely large databases that are using Odoo, but on the community edition, I was talking with one of our partner that was talking about a database that he had. It was like 14,000 users. We know that we have the Portuguese government with between 200,000 and 400,000 users. So we know we have really, really large customers on the community as well.
How far back will legacy be supported? legacy version?
Basically, we said that there's no limit. Basically, all the old versions will be supported. So it's unlimited. As soon as there's the extra cost of 25%, it will be supported.
What is the difference between a partner implementation, MMC, and collaboration between the two?
Basically, there's no difference, let's say. It's a bit, it's as usual. It's potentially the methodology, the way things are organized, but you have partners doing MMC, you have also the internal departments, and as usual, we like to have both. Because we believe that in some cases, it will challenge each other and it will also help each other. That's why we also have collaboration between the two. Our goal as the editor is to open up the market. That's what we did with the SME. We really tried to lower the price to get more and more customer. On the MMC, it's the same. We're still a challenger, and so sometimes we need to be straight, the editor in the loop, because the deal size are quite important, and basically they're required to have a company with minimum numbers as well, and expertise and access to the R&D.
Regarding the hosting location, you said they are only in EU from version 19. Does it make a client on version 18 still have their backup in the US?
Yeah, at the moment, basically, we will step by step transfer the customer that were in V18 and before in this new location, but it will go step by step because we have a GDPR program where basically you have to keep data for a certain time in the current hosting, etc. So at the moment, it's only the new customers, but in the long term, it will be all the customers.
Are you supporting telco and fintech as an industry?
We have many things, but I don't know by heart, to be honest. We have hundreds, so we can have a look at that. One check. I'm not sure we have teleco and fintech, but we have for sure something. Do you know Josephine? Not yet. Okay, it's easier.
Any plans of opening additional offices in Africa?
On the long term, probably, but not at the moment. So basically, we have opened Kenya, I think it was 3-4 years ago. So clearly, we know that one day we'll have to be in the French part of Africa as well. So clearly, it's on the roadmap, but not on the short term, because I think that for now we need to really focus on the evolution of Kenya and see how we can really develop that.
How do you, as such a scale, make sure every event spread the right message and keep a uniform tone of voice?
I think that the strength of Odoo is really to industrialize everything. So basically, everything that we do is really, we think it first to make it replicable and to scale it in the long term. So basically, when we think about what we call the roadshow business shows, now it's always the same process. We just replicate it in every single country. It's the same with the opening of an office. Whenever we open an office, we always have the same approach. We first find a director, and then from that spot, then we decide that, okay, it's the right person who will open the office. Then we duplicate everything that we've done already in the past years in Belgium or in US or in Hong Kong, etc. And thanks to that, we're able to replicate by keeping things simple, first of all, but second, by also using the knowledge that we have based on the years that we have.
Without any need of customization, do you think the product Odoo is ready for corporate market?
I definitely see that today. I think that the question, I guess I understand the question a bit differently. Today, if you look at the big players that we talked about, tier 1, tier 2, the approach is a bit different. You have SAP or Oracle Fusion. Their approach is to be extremely structured, meaning that whenever you're going to use it, they want to go away from the customization. They want to really have everyone on the public cloud. At least that's the logic. Our point of view is that Odoo and the customers need a certain level of agility. And that agility is extremely important because sometimes you will do things differently. As I said, you have two companies in the exact same sector that will work completely differently. So I believe that yes, we are. I just think that today we are comparing Apple and peers, and that sometimes it requires a bit more knowledge, really, and of understanding of what Odoo proposed to really get into the real corporate.
Is Odoo planning to open more offices in the world?
So we have one that we will open probably next year. It's the Philippines. So that's one of the office. For the rest, nothing is really planned. So Philippines should be, I don't know exactly when, but it will come. We have plans. The thing is, for sure, we want to continue to grow and to have local presence to make sure that, okay, we can serve our partners and customers locally as well, but step by step, and we want to make sure that, okay, when we go, we're really able to scale at a fast pace.
Will the price of Odoo increase anytime soon?
We do not plan to increase the price. I think that, to be honest, it's a discussion that we had because, with AI, with all the different industry players that are actually putting the value forward, we always try to lower the value, to increase the value but lower the price. That's the motto that we have as well. So when you look at the invoicing, for instance, we did it for free, while everyone is actually charging per invoice. And it's the same with AI. We just said, okay, it's part of the plan. We want to give more value, and that's how it is. So clearly, we have no plan to increase the price for the coming years.
What are your thoughts on the increasing number of companies selling Odoo Community as their own product? Does it affect the global branding of Odoo?
No, I mean, Odoo Community is part of the business model. I believe that the reason why we are able to get today 7.2 million leads a year is because of the open source model, and especially the community model. What we do is basically we try to provide the best product. If companies are able to put an extra layer on it and use it, that's fine. We are completely okay with that. Even though I believe that for some companies, it's a bit more secure as well to have the enterprise and the service behind.
Hey, you mentioned that you will work on MMC client with selected partners. What are the criteria for selection?
It's case by case. The reason why we decide to collaborate with a partner is simply because we see that the customer is strategic. What strategic means, for sure, there's one indicator, is the size. So we are talking of minimum, let's say 1,000 users, something like that. Now it could be the name, it could be many different things, but for sure we need to have like a case per case approach.
What are strategic partners? What is a strategic partner?
I mean, strategic partner, that we have plenty. I think that here we're more talking about strategic customers, not strategic partners. So, yeah.
How does Odoo look in Saudi Arabia?
It's a brilliant market. I think that we are growing extremely fast. I think that now it's in the top 5 in terms of numbers worldwide. We know that it's a kind of greenfield, a lot of business because now it's really opening up. So I think that clearly the evolution will continue. It was difficult to start with because it was a bit, we had some constraints, but now we have fixed those bottlenecks. Meaning the hosting, for instance, and that kind of constraints. For the rest, I think that clearly the Dubai office is killing it, and we see a massive growth there.
I'm a new user from Austria, and I'm just implementing Odoo for my 100% company. Till half a year ago, I never heard about Odoo. Here I met some customers from my country that told me they had same experience. Is this a problem of missing partner in Austria, or you, as a product owner, are responsible for marketing? And they ask, it is also the same for Germany.
It's true. I mean, we know we have a lack of branding in many countries. Now, the reality is, you know, when you look at the giant that we are facing, we do not have the same budget. If you look at I think the SAP budget in terms of marketing is 7 billion a year. So obviously we have to fight with our own weapons, and our weapons are really to focus on the product, try to do our best to provide the best product possible to our customers, and work with the word of mouth. And step by step, we are getting customers after customers, partners after partners, just to make noise. But the reason why we want to be successful is simply because we take the right decisions and because we provide real value to our customers. So it will take time, I agree, but I think that we are accelerating.
Is there a plan to guide partners to grow and reach certain business goals in terms of yearly revenue?
Can you say that again?
Is there a plan to guide partners to grow and reach a certain business goal in terms of yearly revenue?
I guess it's recurring revenue, or is it yearly revenue? I don't know. If it's yearly revenue, I mean, our goal is for sure that our partners grow at the same pace as us. So basically, we want our partners to grow. We've seen good initiatives. We've seen consolidations as well. That helps a lot because sometimes you need to have partners in multiple countries. So that's for sure. Now, we do not plan to do anything in terms of specific target revenue. The only thing that we want is make sure that when a project is delivered, it's well delivered at the right value as well. So nothing special in there, I must say.
What is the strategy to compete against monopolistic companies in Germany?
We can name it. I think that we're really busy with that. We do our best, and I think that at the moment, as I said, there's a momentum. The momentum is really just the fact that, okay, it's indeed a monopoly. I think that the brand is extremely strong, and we have to fight extremely strongly as well to get those customers. Now, we have more and more. We have more and more of those customers joining the ecosystem, and they're talking to each other, and they see the value that we bring. So I think it's a matter of timing. It's a matter of timing to get there.
They add some notes.
Wait, what's the strategy to compete against Datev is the name of the company. Okay, Datev, yeah. So yeah, I know we had the discussion about Datev as well. I think that it will be something that we are thinking of clearly, but we'll have to see, because I think that it's the same basically.
What's the question?
Sorry, it's still the question about monopoly in Germany, and here they're talking about Datev. So basically what I say is it's pretty much the same answer than for SAP. I think that today we have to first show that the product is ready and well designed, and when that is done, I think that it will go step by step.
Do you plan a dedicated pricing for fiduciaries?
Do you plan a dedicated pricing for fiduciaries? But basically today for fiduciaries, there's no cost because it's the one-app free offer. So I think it's a dedicated price for fiduciaries.
Will Odoo ever do mass marketing like sponsoring the Champions League?
No, to be honest, I got crazy requests. I think basically all the football club, at least the one from Champions League, from Real Madrid to Liverpool to Manchester United. I mean, basically all of them. We had all the F1 teams as well. I mean, we think that today it's not something that will really get real branding. When you look at the big sponsor, I mean, everyone knows Oracle, everyone knows SAP, so they know the brand, they see it. If they see Odoo, it won't bring much. So no, we do not plan to do any sponsoring. We want to continue the strategy, which is a disruptive strategy, and we do not plan to change that.
Do you plan to acquire companies in payroll sector to disrupt the sector factor, since there is a lot of local knowledge in this sector?
No, I think that that's a really important strategy that we have since day one. We want to keep the knowledge inside the company. We want to keep as well the technology where it is, meaning that we want to have one database with one architecture as well, because that's what makes us so powerful and agile today. So clearly there's no goal to acquire a company, and I think that if today we work on payroll, it's simply because the same way as we did with fiduciaries, we collaborate with payroll players as well that can provide the knowledge if there's any knowledge missing.
Does Odoo really support big companies like only ERP? It seems like many cases like Toyota, for example, there are, for reference, there are only a few local businesses.
No, so we have large companies that are fully working on Odoo. Of course, we also have this tier 2 approach where basically Toyota, it was a specific business unit that were used for Odoo. So yeah, you have both. I think that clearly today the trend is really into that 2T ERP approach, where basically the main player is doing the headquarter and then you have multiple solutions doing business units. Now what we see is that clearly you have also smaller company then, not like the Fortune 100. You have the large companies that are doing up to a couple of billions of turnover, and there we are able indeed to basically manage the full flow from A to Z. It means of course that there is some integration with some specific tools. It could be 3D design tools, it could be some specific planning tools because something is in place, but clearly we do it.
Are you worried about AI as a risk to Odoo?
I mean, it's a good question because I think that it's something that we heard a lot. Okay, are you afraid of having like an ERP that tomorrow will be done through AI? I don't think so. At least at the moment, I don't see it as a threat. I see just the opportunity of AI because I think that what is our strength is really the fact that we have one database, one architecture, everything centralized on the database, and thanks to that, we can really apply the AI directly on the solution and bringing straight value because we have access to the data, we have access to the functionalities, and thanks to that we can go really quick. Again, we're not innovator in AI, we're really a user of AI, so it makes our life also way easier.
Where would be a good opportunity to invest an Odoo partnership? Which country do you see having the biggest potential in the next 5 years?
I mean, most of the time, we always say, look at the office that we have opened. And I think that that's a reality. The reason why we go in a market is because we believe that that market is ready, that there's a certain level of maturity and that we can unlock some bottlenecks. So I think that today, there are plenty of countries where basically there's nothing. And it depends for many different business owners as well. I've seen lately that a lot of people went to Spain, but also to Dubai, Canada. I mean, all those countries are the ones that are really booming. But I think that depending on every single case, any opportunity can be really great because it depends also of the speciality of the partners.
Will AI implementation make the partner services less relevant?
I don't think so. I think that, I mean, if you look at AI today, for sure it can increase the speed of implementation, but I don't think that it will make partners at risk. I think that we can go quicker, we can go further, and that we can go deeper as well. So thanks to that, I think that it's just a matter of adopting the technology. At the end of the day, don't forget that, I mean, we're implementing complex softwares with human beings, and you are all implementing softwares. You know that the main issue is most of the time between the keyboard and the chair.
With the implementation of industries and the focus on outbound, will there be a focus on specific industries in terms of outbound?
I didn't get it. With implementation of industry and the focus on outbound, will there be a focus on specific industry in terms of? Yeah, of course. I mean, the reason why we have those hundreds, those industry, is also to help the outbound approach, because the problem that we faced was that if I'm a plumber and I need an ERP solution, I will go for a specific tool that can do plumbing. While actually today it's possible to do it with Odoo, but clearly you don't really know how. It's a generic tool to start with, and that's why it makes it complex. So clearly, the reason why we are now starting with Outbound is because we have the industry, clearly.
How many lines of code big corporate use, and how they upgrade with no problems?
So I think that the biggest customers that we have around between 100 and 150 thousand lines of code on top. So and the strategy with them is always the same. We try to upgrade them minimum every 2 years. That's every single time we do a direct project. That's the way we do. And actually, it's really something that is mandatory for all our customers.
What is Odoo DNS record regarding the SH hosting? What is Odoo DNS record regarding the SH hosting?
What is Odoo DNS record?
I don't know.
I don't understand the question, but we can maybe, I mean, if the person who has that question, we can maybe check after. We have only 30 seconds left, so we'll just take the last question. With
more and more local office appearing, what is the role of main office in the future?
I think that the main office now has more and more the role of second line, of specialized resource with extra experience as well. Thanks to that, we can support them and help them to evolve even quicker. And basically also, when it's needed, called expert from the central office to basically help the local office. That would be really the main one. Guys, we have to stop here. So thank you very much for your time, and have a nice event.